Hi everyone, welcome. I hope you're having a great day. I hope you are staying safe and healthy and as sane as possible. Um, I want to thank you so much for practicing with me, for continuing to practice with me during this time. And just a reminder that these practices are donation based, so anything you can give to keep them going and to keep me going, to keep yoga going throughout this time is greatly appreciated. So we'll get started right away. If you have 2 blocks, grab those for yourself. If you don't have 2 blocks, grab something block size, books or cushions or whatever you have. And yeah, we'll get started. So for today, we're going to start by sitting on our knees. If this is too much, you can always take a cushion and take the cushion right up between your knees, just giving yourself a little bit of extra support, a little extra padding as you sit. And if that is even too uncomfortable, feel free to sit with your legs crossed. Just find a seat that works for you. And let your eyes close. And noticing if you are sitting on your heels or if you're sitting in a way that you don't normally sit. Just noticing what comes up in this moment. Maybe you're asking yourself, why is she asking me to do this? Why is she asking me to sit differently than I normally sit? Maybe you start to notice, oh yeah, I do always sit in this one way. It's interesting to switch it up a little bit. Just noticing what reactions come up, even just around something as simple as me asking you to adjust how you sit at the beginning of your practice. We can get so, our habits can get so ingrained in us that sometimes it can start to feel as if they are us, that all we are those habitual practices that we go through every day. And, some habits are great. If we didn't have habits to get us through our day, we'd have to think and make decisions about every little thing, and that would drive us crazy. But some habits are habits that maybe are not so healthy, habits that are holding us back. And it's important to be able to differentiate, to know, okay, this is a habit that is supporting me, that's helping me get through my day. And this is a habit that maybe is not serving me. And our yoga practice can be a really great opportunity to investigate that. To notice your habits on the mat. To notice which habits you can let go of. And giving yourself that opportunity to really let go. To make room for something new. Take a few more deep breaths here. Letting your hands find a prayer at your heart. And we'll breathe in for Om. Letting your hands relax back down to your knees or your thighs. With your next inhale, draw the elbows back, lifting the chest, opening the front of the body. With an exhale, rounding the spine, let the hands melt down towards your knees. Again, drawing the elbows back, lifting the heart, opening the front of the body. And then sliding the hands down to the knees, rounding the spine, chin to the chest. One more time like this, drawing the elbows back, Front of the body opens. And rounding the spine, back of the body opens. Exhaling. Bringing yourself all the way back up to a long, neutral spine. You can let your eyes open. And then bringing yourself down to the floor. Stretching your legs out in front of you. You can shake the legs out a little bit here, releasing the ankles, the knees. Placing the feet on the earth in front of you, holding on underneath the knees, and tipping back onto the sitting bones. Feet can start to float up just to the height of your knees. And then releasing the arms for a soft Navasana. Right away, start to engage the core, drawing the belly in and up, seeing if the spine can lengthen a little bit more. One more breath in. As you exhale, release. Feet to the mat, hands down behind you, breathing in. Exhale, sweeping the hips to the sky. Big breath in here in your altar pose. Exhaling, hips to the mat. Taking your time to crawl yourself out onto all fours. Spreading the fingers, grounding down through the palms. Right away, tucking your toes, and it's downward facing dog, hips reaching to the sky. As you arrive in this down dog, you can shift, you can move, you can wiggle a little bit, but seeing if, instead of coming from habit, your movements can come from an investigation. What does my body really need in this moment? So you're moving really mindfully, really consciously. Taking a big breath in. Exhaling, finding stillness in your downward facing dog. A few deep breaths here. Keeping the hips really square, sending the right leg up behind you. Toes pointing down toward the earth. Feel that right hip spiraling down a little bit more. And then letting the knee open, pointing the knee up toward the sky. Heel can relax down toward the bum. Right armpit spiraling toward the earth. Breathing in, squaring the hips, stretching that right leg long. Draw the knee in toward the nose, hovering forward like a plank shape. Sending it back up, three-leg dog. Big breath in. Knee comes to the outside of the right armpit. Breathing out. Sending it back up, three-leg dog. Inhaling. Knee to the left armpit. Exhaling. Rising back up, three-leg dog. Inhaling. Knee to the nose to the knee, and it's a soft step forward between the hands. Right arm reaches high for a low lunge twist. Left heel is reaching back, crown of the head stretching forward. Top hand to the mat, downward facing dog, exhaling. Rolling out long to a plank pose with your breath in. Child's pose, softening the hips back to the heels. Breathing out. And taking a breath here in this child's pose, letting the body really soften. Glancing forward, sliding all the way up onto your belly. And there's a baby cobra pose, pressing into the palms, floating through the heart. Exhale, traveling back through hands and knees, tucking the toes, downward facing dog. Big exhale here. Left leg floats to the sky, toes pointing down toward the earth. Take a moment here, really feeling that left hip rotating downward. With an inhale, opening the hip, pointing that knee up toward the sky, feeling the twist in the body, left armpit releasing toward the mat. Inhale, lengthening the legs, squaring the hips. Exhale, drawing the left knee in toward the nose. Send it back up, big breath in. Knee to the outside of the left armpit, breathing out. Reaching it high, three-leg dog, inhaling. Knee to the right armpit, find that twist. One more time, three-leg dog, floating it high. Foot steps softly forward on a breath out. Left arm reaches to the sky for a low lunge twist. Heart is floating. Left side of the neck is long. Top hand to the earth. This time step your back foot forward to meet the front foot. Give yourself a little space between your feet, a little softness in the knees. You can shake out here whatever you need to release, whatever you need to let go. Big breath in. With an exhale, knees soften a little bit more. Start to roll yourself up to stand. Letting the shoulder blades slide down the back, crown of the head floats high. Feet are open, so they're about hip width apart. With a breath in, sending the arms up to the sky, holding on to the right wrist with the left hand. Right fingertips float up toward the sky, and it's a big lean over to your left side. Keeping that right foot really grounded as you lean. Inhale, drawing yourself back up. Switching sides, holding on to your left wrist, floating the fingers high, and big lean towards your right. Keeping the bottom ribs, those right ribs, really long. And bringing yourself back up, finding a high prayer, and letting that prayer find your heart. Tadasana, arms can release by your sides, stepping your feet together. With a breath in, the arms rise for a prayer. Drawing the hands through the heart, fold all the way over. Right foot steps back into a lunge. Big breath in. Downward facing dog on a breath out. Plank pose, long spine. You can have straight legs or you can lower the knees to the mat, your choice. Bend the elbows, lowering to the floor. Rising up through the heart, cobra pose. Downward facing dog. Exhaling. Right leg stretches high on a breath in. Foot between the hands on a breath out. Right arm to the sky, gazing up toward the fingertips. Top hand down, back foot forward, bowing into your legs. Uttanasana. Arms rise for a prayer. Inhaling. Hands to your heart. Exhaling. Sending the arms back up. Breath in. Melting over the legs. Exhale. Left foot steps back. Heart is open. Downward facing dog. Exhale. Plank pose. Breathing in. Again, straight legs or bent legs, lowering to your belly. Point your toes. Floating the heart open. Downward facing dog. Exhaling. Left leg rises on a breath in. Foot between the hands. Breath out. Left arm to the sky. Gazing high. Top hand down. Step your back foot forward. Release the head. Arms rise. Urdhva Hastasana. Hands to your heart. Breathing out. Send it back up for that high prayer. Inhale. Melting forward over the legs. Exhale. Right foot steps back to your lunge. Breath in. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Downward facing dog. Plank pose. Breath in. There can be a chaturanga or you can lower down to the floor. Lifting the heart, up dog or cobra. Downward facing dog. Exhaling. Right leg rises. Breath in. Foot steps softly forward. Breath out. Right arm to the sky. Heart lifts. Top hand down. Back foot forward. Let the head drop. Arms float high. Breathing in. Hands to the heart. Breathing out. Reach it back up. Urdhva Hastasana. Melting forward. Exhaling. Left foot back to your lunge. Breath in. Down dog on your breath out. Inhaling, rolling forward. Chaturanga or to the mat. Exhaling. Pressing into the palms. Heart rises. Down dog. Exhaling. Left leg floats. Inhale. Soft step forward. Exhale. Left arm rises with a breath in. Top hand down, back foot forward, bowing into your legs. Arms float high, breath in. To the heart. Exhale. Arms rising, breath in. Folding forward, Uttanasana, breath out. Right foot steps back, open heart. This time it's plank pose, right away, lowering halfway or all the way down. Lifting the heart on a breath in, downward facing dog. On a breath out, big inhale here, big exhale. Softening the knees, looking forward with a breath out, stepping or hopping to the top of the mat. Long spine, melting forward, breath out. Arms rise, inhale. Hands through the heart, fold right back over, exhale. Left foot steps back, breathing in. Plank pose, again lowering halfway or all the way. Lifting the heart, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Downward facing dog, breathing out. Softening the knees, looking forward, stepping or floating to your hands, long spine. Bowing down. Arms rise for a prayer. Hands to your heart. Exhaling, Tadasana. Arms by your side, standing tall. Utkatasana. Sit your way back into your chair pose. Feel the low belly drawing up, engaging that center. Low back is widening. Breathing in. Diving forward over the legs. Breathing out. Long spine. Inhale. Bend your knees, plant your palms, stepping back or floating right back into your chaturanga. Lifting the heart, downward facing dog as you exhale. With a breath in, the right leg reaches high. Stepping the foot forward, Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2 pose. Left heel to the mat, arms spiraling open. Feel the tailbone really descending toward the earth. At the same time, the pubic bone rising up toward the belly. Peaceful warrior, right arm tips high. As you exhale, landing back in Warrior 2. Let your hands find your hips, and then actively use your hands, drawing the right hip back, spiraling the left hip forward, shifting your way into a Warrior 1. Feel that left hip, left ribs continuing to spiral toward the front of the mat. Left pinky toe continuing to ground down. Hands to the earth, low lunge. Step it right back through a plank, taking it through your vinyasa. Left leg rises, inhaling. Stepping forward, finding that Warrior 2. Spin the back heel down, open the arms wide. Feeling those hips descending. Back of the left thigh getting really heavy. Flipping the palms for peaceful. Left arm rises. Landing back in Warrior 2, exhaling. Hands find your hips, and again, actively spiral left hip back. Right hip forward, adjusting the feet as you need, and letting the arms rise. Virabhadrasana 1. Big inhale, fill up the lungs. Exhaling, hands to the floor for a lunge. Stepping your way right back through plank, through chaturanga. Opening the heart. Down dog, exhaling. Adding on, right leg rises. Step that foot forward, right away, Warrior 2. Open it up wide. Peaceful warrior, right arm floats high. Side angle, elbow can come down to your thigh, or you might bring your fingertips down to the floor or down to a block to deepen the shape. Up to you. Breathing in deeply. With your exhale, the left arm circles down past your face. It keeps circling up to the sky as the right leg lengthens. Right hand finds the shin. Trikonasana, triangle pose. Big inhale here. With your exhale, left hand to left hip. Softening the right knee, walking your right hand out in front of you to the floor, or to a block for your half moon pose. Left side body rises. And as you ground down through the right foot and the right fingertips, maybe your eyes can turn up toward that top hand. Big, soft step back, peaceful warrior, sending the right arm high, landing in warrior two, exhaling. Hands to your hips. Again, swivel the right hip back, left hip forward, but this time turn onto the back toes and send the arms to the sky. So this time it's a high lunge shape. If the back ever gets crunchy, feel free to bend the back knee a little bit. Give yourself a little space there. Inhaling. Hands to the mat, stepping back through your vinyasa. If you need to leave the vinyasa out at any point, feel free. Left leg high, inhaling. Stepping forward, warrior two, spin it down, arms wide. Peaceful, left arm reaches high. Side angle, left elbow to the thigh, or fingertips to the earth. Grounding the sole of the right foot into the earth. And on an exhale, right hand circles down past your face, circling it all the way up to the sky, lengthening the left leg, letting the heart open for your triangle pose. With your exhale, right hand to right hip, softening the left knee, Ardha Chandrasana, left fingertips to the floor in front of you, right side body opens. And imagine that you could lean back, almost falling backwards into the shape here. Breathing in. Big step back, landing in peaceful. Right foot down softly, left arm high. Warrior two, exhale. Hands to the hips. Swivel yourself onto your back toes, right hip forward, both arms reaching high for your high lunge. Hands to the earth with a breath out, stepping your way back, lowering with your exhale. Rising, breath in. Down dog, breath out. A little bit different here. Send that right leg to the sky, keeping the hips really square. And just like we did at the very beginning, you can take a moment to open that hip. You can stay here, or you might play with flipping the dog, bringing the right toes to the mat behind you, heart lifting to the sky, turning right back around, three-leg dog, right hand down, right leg floats. Right foot forward between the hands, warrior two, up and around. Peaceful, right arm high. Side angle, elbow to the thigh, or fingertips to the mat. You might want to play with a half bind here. You might want to play with a full bind here. Or you might want to leave the binds out. That's also a great option. If you have the bind, maybe try to keep the bind as you press into the right foot, lengthening the right leg for a bound triangle pose. Again, if you don't have the bind, traditional Trikonasana, right hand down, left arm to the sky. And if you have that bind, again, maybe you try to keep it, right knee bends, shifting forward toward a half moon, maybe keeping that bind as the left leg floats. Again, if you don't have the bind, it's half moon, left leg back, left fingers high. Big step back to peaceful, left foot down, everyone send the right arm high. Warrior two, exhaling. Hands to your hips. Draw the right hip back, left hip forward. Arms to the sky, high lunge. Hands to the floor. Sweep your right leg up behind you, three-leg dog. Knee to the nose, draw it forward. Exhale. Reach it back up, breathing in. Knee to the outside of the right armpit. Exhaling. Stretch it back up. Inhale. Knee to the outside of the left armpit. Find your twist. Now stay here. Slide your right leg under your left arm. Left heel to the earth. Left arm to the sky for a starfish shape. Left hand to the earth. Step the right foot back. Plank. Take it through your vinyasa. Following your breath. Down dog. Left leg high. Inhale. Take a moment to open that hip. Breathing in. You can either stay here or you can flip the dog, left toes down. Let the heart rise. Turning right back around, three-leg dog. Sending the left leg to the sky. Step that foot forward. Spin the back heel down. Warrior two. Peaceful, left arm rises. Your side angle. Elbow to the thigh. Maybe fingertips to the mat. Maybe there's no bind. Maybe there's a half bind. Maybe there's a full bind. Again, if you have that full bind, you can lengthen the left leg for your bound triangle. Otherwise, the arms open freely for your triangle pose. Everyone bending the left knee. Shifting your weight forward if you have that bind, maybe keeping the bind for a bound half moon pose. Otherwise, arms extend for your Ardha Chandrasana. If you have the bind, release it. Big step back for peaceful, landing softly, left arm rises. Warrior two, exhale. Hands to the hips, swivel the right hip forward, turning onto the back toes. Arms rising, high lunge. Hands to the mat. Send your left leg high, three-leg dog. Knee to the nose, exhaling. Stretching it back up, breath in. Knee to the left armpit, draw it forward. Send it back up, breathing in. Knee to the right armpit, find that twist, slide the leg under the right arm. Right heel down, right arm to the sky for your starfish. Right hand down, big step back through a plank, take it through your flow. Following your exhale, all the way back to down dog. Big breath here. Softening the knees, looking forward, stepping or hopping towards your hands, long spine, breath in. Bowing forward, breath out. Arms float high for your prayer. Hands to your heart, exhaling. Let your hands find your hips and step the left foot back behind you. So you have right foot forward, left foot back. Take a moment with the hands on the hips. Just like we did earlier, spiral the left hip forward just a little bit more. Taking the hands behind you, maybe finding reverse prayer between your shoulder blades. Maybe if that's too much, you find the opposite elbows. Wherever you are, there's a long spine, breathing in. As you breathe out, diving the heart forward, reaching the hips back, lengthening, lengthening, lengthening. And then letting your upper body melt and fold. Pressing into your 2 feet, rising up, finding a long flat back. Left fingers to the floor, or maybe taking them to a prop under your face. And twisting to your right, Pavrita Trikonasana. Rotated triangle pose. Right hip moving back away from the right armpit. With a breath out, bringing that right hand down to the mat. Sliding the left foot back, finding a low lunge. Pressing into your 2 feet, both arms reaching to the sky, high lunge. Exhale, shifting your weight forward towards your right foot. It's Virabhadrasana 3, Warrior 3 pose. Left leg floats. Feel that left hip rotating down, toes pointing toward the earth. Keeping the left leg lifted. Left hand comes down again to the floor or a block. It's another twist to the right for a rotated half moon pose. Left heel is stretching back, crown of the head reaching forward in opposition. Top hand to the mat, again, big step back to a low lunge. One more time here, high lunge, arms to the sky. Hands connecting at your heart. One more twist to the right here, left elbow to the outside of the right thigh. You might stay here. You might bring your back knee down for more support. You might play with left hand outside of your right foot, floating the right arm to the sky. Or maybe there's a half bind or a full bind here. Wherever you are, spiraling the heart up past your right shoulder. If you have the bind, maybe you keep that bind as you slide the left knee forward behind the right foot, sending the hips down to the earth. If you don't have the bind, right fingers down behind you, left elbow to the knee, and it's a big twist back over your right shoulder. Exhaling, hands to the left. Let yourself melt into a counter twist. Rolling yourself all the way up to sit. Feet to the floor in front of you. Holding on underneath your knees. Tipping back into that Navasana. This time, maybe you let the legs lengthen. Sending the arms out. Finding the balance on your sitting bones. Low belly drawing in and up. With an inhale, lowering to a half boat pose. So you're hovering just off the mat. Big breath in, and then let yourself release. Exhaling. Softly bending the knees. Drawing the knees in towards your heart. And give it a gentle rock here from side to side. Stretching both legs up toward the sky, flexing the feet, arms down by your sides. Big breath in here. As you exhale, lift the head and the shoulders up off the mat. Reach the fingertips forward like you're trying to reach toward the front of the room. On a breath in, send the right leg down to a 45-degree angle. Exhale, switching the legs. Breathing in. Slowly switching. Breathing out. Slow switch. Inhaling. Last one. Exhaling, belly drawing back. Keep the right leg lifted. Float the left leg up to meet it. And then releasing. Head to the mat. You can hold on to your knees. And we'll take a few rocks and rolls up and down the spine. Rolling from head to tail a few times. And then eventually, using your momentum to rock all the way up to sit, making your way back through a vinyasa, hands to the earth, stepping or hopping your way back. Down dog on your exhale. Big breath here. Softening the knees, looking forward, stepping or floating to the top of the mat, long spine. Big exhale to bow forward. Arms rising for a prayer. Big inhale, hands to your heart. Exhale. Hands can find your hips, keeping the hips really square, sending the right foot back. So you have left foot forward, right foot back. Right hip is spiraling in. Taking your hands behind you, however you had them on the first side. Big breath in. And as you exhale, reaching the spine forward, reaching the tailbone back, letting yourself release over that left leg. Pressing into the 2 feet, lengthening the spine. Right hand releases down to the floor or a prop under your face. Big twist to your left, belly, heart, eyes, left fingertips to the sky, rotated triangle pose. Left hand to the earth on an exhale. Right foot slides back into a low lunge, pressing into your 2 feet, arms to the sky for a high lunge. Exhale, shifting your weight forward onto your left foot. Right leg floats. Warrior 3 pose. Right outer thigh spiraling down toward the mat. Keeping your right leg floating, right hand finds the floor or a prop. Big spiral opening to your left. Rotated half moon pose. Heart rising up toward the left hand. Left hand to the earth. Again, big step back to your low lunge. Last time, arms floating high for your high lunge. Breath in. Hands connecting at the heart. Take your twist to your left. Again, you might stay here. You might lower the back knee down for more support. You might take a big winging open of the arms, or maybe there's a half bind or a full bind. If you have that full bind, maybe you try to keep it as you slide the right knee forward. And we'll come down into our seated spinal twist. Maybe you keep the bind. Maybe you find left fingers to the earth, right elbow to the knee. Keeping the heart really open here. Exhaling, twisting to the right. Let the head soften toward the earth. Rolling yourself up to sit. Again, finding that Navasana, boat pose, but this time try not to use your hands. Extending the arms long, letting the feet float. Lowering to your half boat pose, hovering just off the mat. And with an exhale, let everything go, releasing to the earth. Softening the knees, drawing the knees in towards your heart. Gentle sway from side to side. Bringing your hands behind your head, interlacing the fingers. Big breath in, keep the elbows wide as the upper body floats up, knees and nose moving toward each other. Left leg lengthens, twisting to your right, bringing your left elbow to your right knee. Switching sides, left knee bends, right elbow touches the knee. Breathing in, big twist to your right. Breathing out, twisting to your left. Inhaling, twisting right. Last time, twisting to the left. Keep the upper body off the mat. Bring yourself center, knees in, nose in. Bring it in, and let it go. Head to the earth. Again, take a few rocks and rolls from head to tail. And then using your momentum, rolling up and right back through your last vinyasa. big breath in. As you exhale, softening back to a child's pose. Taking a few deep breaths in your child's pose. As we move from this more active part of the class, as we start to kind of slow the pace, calm the energy a little bit more, just taking a moment to notice those habits that have come up. Noticing especially the habits that are maybe holding you back. Negative thinking. Maybe pushing yourself past where your body wants to go. Your mat can be a really great place to kind of question these habits, asking yourself why they're there, why you need them, and giving yourself the space to let go. And gently you can start to crawl your hands back to your knees, rolling yourself up to sit. We're going to come up to stand on our knees for a camel pose. So if you want to throw a blanket over the mat to give yourself a little extra padding, you can do that. If you want to just fold the top of your mat back, that can be a nice little extra softness there under your knees. Coming up onto stand onto your knees directly under your hips. Tucking the toes underneath you. Hands find the back of the pelvis. Sending the hands into the pelvis, sweeping the pubic bone forward. Belly and heart start to lift. Now you might stay here, or you might send your hands back to your heels for Ustrasana, camel pose. If your hands found your heels, bring your hands back to your hips, rising up to a long spine. Let your toes point and take a seat onto your heels, just letting the spine come to neutral for a few deep breaths. One more camel pose, bringing yourself back up onto your knees. Now you have a choice. You can either tuck your toes underneath you, which will bring your heels a little bit closer to you, or you can point your toes, which might take you a little bit deeper into the shape. Bringing the hands back onto the pelvis, sending the pubic bone shooting forward, lifting through the front of the body. And again, maybe you stay here, or maybe your hands reach back for the heels. If the hands find the heels, really press the hands into the heels. See if the thighs can reach forward even more. If your hands found your heels, hands back to the hips, rising up, long spine. Everyone point your toes behind you. And again, sitting down on your heels for a few breaths. Long spine. Your hips can release down to the floor. Sending your legs around in front of you and rolling yourself all the way down onto your back. Arms out wide into a T, and there's a gentle sway of the knees from side to side. Exhaling, both knees melt over to the left, and turning your head to the right. And seeing what you can let go of here. Any place where you habitually hold on, where you can find some more release, some more softness, some more weight. And bringing yourself back through center. Breathing in, knees to the right, and head turning to your left. either letting the eyes close or finding a soft focus on the left fingertips. On your next breath out, the left arm comes over to meet the right arm, curling into a soft ball on your right side. And taking your time, drawing yourself all the way up to sit. Taking your legs out in front of you. Give everything a little shake out here. Letting the right knee bend. Draw that right knee in towards your chest. Rotating out, you can draw the leg up into the arms. Maybe you can wrap the elbows around the leg. Maybe you can hold on with your hands and just give it a little shift from side to side. Starting to find some opening in the outside of this right hip. And then you can bend your left knee in front of you. And as much as possible, you really want this left knee to come to a 90-degree angle. So the knee is directly in front of the hip, and then the shin is right across the top of the mat. Taking this top right leg, drawing the ankle over and placing it on top of the left knee. I always like to take my right hip here, give it a little draw backwards, giving it some more space, letting the hip relax down to the mat, and then seeing if this top knee can soften down toward my bottom ankle. This is always a nice place to take some support with props. So you can take something under the top knee, you can take something under the bottom knee. If it's just too much, you can bring a block in front of your left knee and then place the ankle on the block. So you have the same opening, but a little more space. Once you've found a place where you can sit, you can let your hands find a prayer at your heart. And you can let your eyes gently float closed. Feet are flexing. And you can imagine that you're pressing the opposite walls away with your feet. Now you can stay right where you are, or if you'd like to take the shape a little bit further, you can take it into a forward fold. Letting your teeth separate a little bit. With your breath in, drawing yourself back up, finding a long spine if you took that forward fold. And then you can take the right leg in your arms, stretching the left leg out in front of you, stretching the right leg out in front of you. Give everything a little shake out here. We'll move into the second side, bending the left knee. Rotating out, drawing that left leg up and into your arms. And giving it a little bit of movement here from side to side, maybe up and down. Just finding some opening in the outside of that outer left hip. And moving to that 90-degree angle in the right leg. Setting it up, being really precise about it. Drawing the left ankle over and placing it on top of the right knee. So often in this shape, I see people placing their foot or even their toes on the knee. See if you can really place your ankle on top of the knee. So it's a little more crossed than you might think. Drawing the left hip back in space. And then letting the knees start to soften toward the earth or soften onto whatever prop feels supportive for you in this moment. Letting your hands connect in a prayer at your heart, and letting your eyes gently float closed. Breath deepening. Again, feel free to stay here or feel free to take it into your forward fold. If you folded forward, you can roll yourself all the way back up to sit. Letting your eyes gently open. You can draw that left leg up off of the right leg, sending both legs out in front of you, shaking out whatever you need to shake out here. Both legs stretching out long. Feet are flexed. Arms floating high. Breathing in. And it's a big reach out over your legs. Melting forward into Paschimottanasana. After all that hip opening, feeling yourself kind of neutralizing through the hips here. And finding a softening of the upper body, a lengthening of the breath. With your next inhale, rolling yourself back up to sit. Bringing yourself to the top of the mat, and whatever two props you have, get them handy so that they're close by. Soles of the feet on the floor, opening the knees wide, holding on to the ankles, lengthening the spine as you breathe in. Breathing out, diving out past your toes, and letting your upper body round as you melt into Baddha Konasana. Shoulder blades releasing into the sockets. Make sure that the shoulders aren't crowding the ears. Rolling yourself back up to sit. Taking the hands onto the mat behind you, letting the hips scooch forward towards your heels, and taking the blocks with you as you release down onto your back. Setting up the blocks so that they support those wide knees. Letting your upper body release to the earth. Hands either palms open or bringing one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. And letting the eyes gently close if they're still open. Turning inward. You're welcome to stay here in this reclined goddess pose for as long as you like. If you prefer to move into Shavasana, you can use the hands to help the legs together, and then stretching the legs out long on the earth. Take a nice long Shavasana, rest here. Let yourself find some stillness. Thank you so much for your practice today. Namaste.